Yeah, welcome in everybody. We're going to do a little more painting here on our wonderful uh, King Returns and see how that goes. Today we're going to start working a little on the lion himself. So get this zoomed in a little bit. Get her tilted up here. That way we can focus in on what we're getting ready to do. What I'm going to do here is just kind of go in and do a little more mapping out because we got the basic structure in there with the underpainting, but we're going to go in and lay out a little more of the lights and the darks in the line itself. And I generally mix up a large amount of the base color that I'm wanting to get to. Because once I get that base color down, then I can go in and add my lights and darks to it to cover the different areas that I'm looking at. Let's see. Grab a little Van Dyke brown here. All right. I'm going to bring out a little of the liquid. This liquid helps thin it down, but it also helps the dry time on it. I just got to figure out what I did with my handy dandy opener. I go high tech with my openers. When stuff gets around the threads, sometimes it's hard to get it to comply with what we're wanting. We're going to be using a filbert brush. It's not a small filbert. It's actually a, let's see, what size is this one? I don't know. I done beat the sizing off of it, but it's not a small filbert. It's not a huge filbert, but it will do the job. And I'm not being too picky about this color. This is my medium color that's going on into certain areas. I do want to pay attention to how dark and stuff I want to get to certain areas. Finger painting 101. This does help expand it out just a little bit. Where his mane is coming down, we're going into it because when the hair comes down and goes over it, it'll layer it. You're going to see many layers on this because you can't just do it uh, all at once and expect a great outcome as far as uh, this stuff goes. You see a lot of people doing Alprima. It's all good. but you need to get your bases in there. And once you get your bases in there, then you can do a whole lot better as far as your finer work goes. Right now we're working on shadows, mapping in some shadows.
The slow sweetness of a Twizzler is the perfect companion for chewing on important questions like, does the name Twizzlers imply there's an activity called I with the hand?
Twizzlers. It's been a long time since I've eaten a Twizzler.
He's invented by someone with the last name Twiz. If a wizard's wand was a Twizzler, does that make him a Twizzer? So many questions, so many delicious Twizzlers. Chew on it. Read your next audiobook. Ghost Season by Katina Box. This dynamic story.
These guys that come up with these advertisements are really good.
Relationships and conflict.
What kind of questions would the kids ask?
There's a body. There are complex relationships. There are consequences for getting it wrong. And there's much on the ever-changing and unmapped line. Narrated by Dion Graham and Bonnie Turpin. Once you press play, you'll be invested until the last word. Listen now on Spotify. Hi, this is Alex Kantrowitz. I'm the host of Big Technology Podcast, a longtime reporter, and an on-air contributor to CNBC. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how artificial intelligence is changing the business world and our lives. So each week on Big Technology, I host key actors from the companies building AI tech and outsiders trying to influence, asking where this is all going. Places like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon. So if you want to be smart with your wallet, your career choices, and at dinner parties, listen to Big Technology Podcast right here on Spotify.
From road trips to flights, take your music with you everywhere. Offline backup keeps your top tracks ready to play, no download required. Tune back into Premium and get 2 months for $6.99.
Like I said, right now we're just mapping in the darks. We've got a general idea of where they go. And this is just the medium color. We're going to go with some more darks in certain areas. But we always start off with medium colors in our mapping out, or I do, because that way it tends to take on more of the shape of the line itself. Trying to figure out why my music stopped. Well, let's try this again. Since it's not wanting to play. All right. Let's go a little bit darker. I'm going to use a lot more brown in this. Still using the same brush. Liberty, liberty.
Neutral and save money. Really, let's go. So again, leave my hair. Totally shady. I had bumble it. See, one, no, and then bumble it. See, okay, what's matter? Trouble. Look at me. You know, this was a only take what you need.
Liberty, liberty. Bumble and save. Wonder how long it took him to get that down. How many times he said it the correct way before he got it the wrong way. Kind of reminds me of Lucille Ball when doing that Vita Vita Vegemin routine.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on the FTC line.
A watch is a gift that's cherished every day. When you purchase a Citizen watch at Jared Jewelers, it marks a moment and celebrates life's great achievements. It becomes part of your everyday, a reflection of what matters most. Powered by any light, Citizen EcoDrive never needs a battery. So it keeps going, just like the moment it represents. Shop your local Jared Jewelers to discover your Citizen watch. Powering very light.
Case Western Reserve University is the AAU's #1 fastest growing research university. It was recently named a new ID by Forbes and ranked top 25 in the U.S. by Time. Here, individual forces collide to become something greater. Case Western Reserve University, a community created to be a force in the world. Learn more at case.edu.
All right. Time to go for a smaller brush. Let's see. We're using a smaller brush, but we're going to be using a wedge brush. So if you have never seen one before, it gives you an angle to work with. You can do it flat, you can do it pointed. This music actually comes from Hack's band. If you ever watched him, he's a handyman that allows everybody to utilize his music. Excuse me, but it is does not have a copyright, so it's very good to use for these videos. Let's go a little bit darker. I'm going to use a lot more brown in this. Still using the same brush. Liberty, liberty.
Neutral and save money. No, yeah, let's go. Go again. Leave my hair. Totally shady. I had bumble it. See, one, no, and then bumble it. See, okay, no matter. Cuddle. Look and wait. You know, let's listen. Only. Take what you need.
Liberty, liberty. Bumble and save. Wonder how long it took him to get that down. How many times he said it the correct way before he got it the wrong way. Kind of reminds me of Lucille Ball when doing that Vita Vita Vegemin routine.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Nirvana. Pick up these new lines.
A watch is a gift that's cherished every day. When you purchase a Citizen watch at Garrett Jewelers, it marks a moment and celebrates life's greatest achievements. It becomes part of your everyday, a reflection of what matters most. Powered by any light, Citizen EcoDrive never needs a battery. So it keeps going, just like the moments it represents. Shop your local Jared Jewelers to discover your Citizen watch. Powering Jared by night.
Case Western Reserve University is the AAU's #1 fastest growing research university. It was recently named a new ID by Forbes and ranked top 25 in the U.S. by Time. Here, individual forces collide to become something greater. Case Western Reserve University, a community created to be a force in the world. Learn more at case.edu.
All right. Time to go for a smaller brush. Let's see. We're using a smaller brush, but we're going to be using a wedge brush. So if you have never seen one before, it gives you an angle to work with. You can do it flat, you can do it pointed. This music actually comes from Hack's band. If you ever watched him, he's a handyman that allows everybody to utilize his music. Excuse me, but it is does not have a copyright, so it's very good to use for these videos. Oh, Let's pink up his nose just a tad. And I don't mean a bright pink. Don't worry, I'm going to come back in with some brown, but I want to get that base tone in there. Now,
Can you tell me a story? Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car. She made, she was tired, mostly. But she went to Garana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to find a drive-in?
Nope, she got it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as online could be.
Does the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, it's
Car buying will lots to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Okay,
All signed up. Easy. Now let's run payroll. What the? Hey girl, I'm you with more gusto. Nice. Who's that? Your social media manager. Hired and onboarded with gusto. And spoiler, we're kind of famous now. Wait, we're famous? Oh, well, I'm famous. Payroll, benefits, and HR. Design and build personal businesses. Choose a future with gusto.
Out here, if you're doing nothing, you're doing everything right. So on a cruise with Norwegian, even if you're doing nothing, you're still basking in the warm sun, enjoying the peaceful ocean waves, breathing. Don't forget about breathing. Definitely need to be breathing. So you get to do nothing or everything, but you still need to be breathing. It's like really important.
Experience the difference with cruises to Alaska, the Caribbean, and Europe. Norwegian Cruise Line. It's different out here. Visit npl.com, call your travel advisor for 1-888-SAIL Cruise. Norwegian Cruise Line should charge you Order for Jennifer C. Is this the double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double rip, double sleeve? Yeah. Did you know that was coming? Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year? Oh, really? That's great. Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year? Yeah, you just said that. Did you say I just said that? Yeah, I'm telling you off. I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/credit.
Whew, ain't getting tired. That's what you call gripping the brush too tight. You can still see the line down through here, but since this is just the map out of where the hair is going, there's going to be multiple layers, and that will disappear. The color I'm using right now is actually a transparent color, as they call it. Add a little white into this, make it a little more opaque. If you can see what I did when I painted the line, I left the area between the thing so I can cover over. I didn't want it to just break even with the line itself. That way I can push the background further away. So you get that layered look. Hey everybody, as you've seen from earlier, we painted a little bit on the lion. So what we've done, let me zoom in here a little bit so you can see more of what the lion is. So what we've done is put a little of the medium color into the lion. So we wanted to break in where the lights and darks are. And so we brought in a notch darker to define some of the areas where the shadow is going to fall. Some of it will disappear as I put a more highlight on it from where the light comes in from the top. But some of the techniques that we use in here is simply to block in the darker areas to bring a more three-dimensional look to the lion itself. And when we went in, you'll notice up around the edge from the other videos, and as you heard me talking, I used a transparent color to go in around. Some of it, I went back in and added some white in to make it a little more opaque to bring out a little more of the highlight that where they're going to fall. But the main purpose of this is to break up that edge where I did the original block in of the line itself. So when you go back over that with something that's a little more opaque, it doesn't allow you to see that stop line where you did your original block in of the animal itself. we went in to find a little more around the face. So, we got a little bit more picture of the expression of the lion. But we defined out a lot of the mane. So when I go in and start doing some more of this finer hair work, it will actually come out just a little further in some areas to give it a little more of a realistic look. But we do this in steps because we want to see how well it's going to play out in all that. So I'm gonna adjust this a little bit, even though you won't be able to see me as much. You're not here to look at me. So if you notice that we went in and we started defining some of the side and where everything is, we still got some highlight in here, but it's going to be a lot of shadow in this area. We'll deepen up areas that need to be deepened up. And when we work more on this mane, it'll look more like a natural animal hair as we go along. So just remember, if you're doing animal hair, especially something like a lion's mane, don't be so adamant that you're going to pull this around here. So don't be so adamant about keeping everything perfect, okay? Because there is no perfect hair. If you have a picture and you just absolutely love it and you want to follow it to a T, you're going to drive yourself crazy trying to get this hair to match exactly what you see in your reference photo. Just use it as a guide. This lock is going here, this lock is going there. Use it as a guide because it's never going to turn out exactly like the photo itself unless you're going to be a, what they call it, hyper realistic painter, which would drive me insane, by the way. But I can get realistic looking hair without going through the painstake of finding myself a brush to where I can knock it down to one bristle and do each individual hair, which some hyper realistic people do. Yeah, I mean, when you get up close to those, they look amazing, but 9 times out of 10, people are going to admire a painting from a distance anyway. The standard distance is like 8 foot. So if you get it to look like real hair and the flow and the strands and stuff, I mean, sure, we're going to put in some individual strands with some smaller brushes, but it's not going to be down to the minute detail to where we're painting each and every individual hair on this animal. Okay, that would take this painting probably months of constant work to get it to that point. And I just don't see the benefit of doing that. You can get the same effect by using specialty brushes and keeping the direction of the fur, and it will look uh, very good, very realistic as you go along. Okay, so don't get caught up in thinking that you got to be extremely perfect with all this stuff. These animals didn't set their fur perfect when the picture was taken. Okay, uh, lions don't care if their hair is perfect. Uh, Dogs don't care if their hair is perfect. I mean, there are some pet memorials that I've done where these people are show dogs and they want the hair to look exactly like the dog, and I spend a little more detail on that. But genuinely, if the dog looks like the dog or the cat looks like the cat, and you catch the general fur of animal, just like in the cat that I did, then the customer is going to be extremely satisfied with it because it's going to look realistic. Okay. So don't think that you have to go in and stroke every hair on these paintings to make them look real. Excuse me, I gotta get a drink. But these I love doing these paintings, and they take shape. It's just like in that little bit of time. I think it was like maybe an hour and 15 minutes that I worked on this line. We've gone from the basic block in to knowing exactly what the line's going to look like. We've got where the locks of hair are going to flow. We've got the border has been disrupted to where it looks like it's hair and not a solid block creature like a cartoon character. So it doesn't take a whole lot to get to this point. Don't overwork it. When you're up close, you're going to see where your brush dragged and you're going to see gaps. Don't think that's a bad thing, because if you got little hairs that are crossing here and there in there, that can do the same thing. You can go back in and do the individual hairs that come out, and make it look like you did it on purpose, and it turns out wonderful. Just give it a try. As far as you've seen how it's working in here, you're just cutting in the darks. You're layering the main. Don't worry about whether or not it's perfect. Okay. Get the general areas blocked in. We will go back in and make some smaller, thinner brush strokes and make them look more realistic. But you got to get your general shapes in of where your shadows are going to fall before you go in to do anything else. Because if you don't have your shadow and you got a hair that's lighter that's in front of it, it's hard to paint the shadow around that light. Go always put in your darks. We went through our mediums in our real darks, and we're probably going to put in even darker darks in here. But once you get that done, then you can worry about doing the highlight portions of it. The main color, the highlight hairs, the highlight that's going to be on the face. I purposely left this light for a reason. When that light comes down, it's going to illuminate the top part of this lion's face, and I don't want to darken it too much and then have to go back in and relighten it. Okay, we can make our block in lights lighter than the block in darks in the dark areas down at the bottom. It's just a simple concept of taking the paint that you're doing, and you can actually hold it up to your reference photo and get a general idea if that's the color that you want. It doesn't have to be a perfect match. Okay. If you're doing people, you want to match their skin tone. If you're doing specific animals for like pet portraits, you want to make sure that the color matches the fur of that. A simple way to do that is get yourself a piece of glass, put a color photo of the animal up underneath, mix your paint, and then put some paint right on top of the glass with your picture underneath it. And that way you can see if it actually matches the color of the fur on that animal. It's a good process to use, especially even if you're going to do your block in, because a lot of times I'll block my stuff in acrylic, and you can paint oil over acrylic. But matching up that base coat, that medium base coat, and then going in and using your oils over top of that, or using your more acrylics over top of it, it saves a whole lot of time to keep that as close to that color as possible. Now, this particular line, you know, the lion in the photograph has been toned with orange. I don't want an orange lion. I want one that's got his bright yellow mane. I want one that I can tone the top the way I want to, and I can change it however this old noggin wants it to be changed. Okay, you can make it your own. Don't get caught up in copying that photograph if you're just doing a concept painting. Excuse me. It's a simple process of doing it, and what your eye sees, don't look at it from how somebody else is going to perceive this. Paint to your satisfaction, not to somebody else's satisfaction, unless it's a commission piece. If it's a commission piece, then their opinion matters 100%. But if it's something that you're doing, like me, in, to keep my mind occupied in my retirement, and to, in for me, glorifying God, okay, in all my paintings. This is a concept piece. This is something, different than what I usually do. But when I paint animals that are from Kentucky and landscape from Kentucky, I paint it until I'm satisfied with it. And then I can ask the opinion of the person, if it's a commission piece, if there's anything in it that they don't like. If there's something that needs to be changed, I can go back and change it. But always paint it for where it pleases my eye, and then worry about everybody else after that. Okay. This is an expression of me in the work that I do, that God does through my hands. So don't worry about everything everybody else is going to think. Okay. Make sure that you are doing what suits you, especially if you're just doing this to keep your mind occupied and to keep yourself young in retirement, mentally young, because we can't do nothing about the physical part, and we can't do nothing about the time of what's going on. Let me adjust my light here. That way, get a little more light on me. But remember that if you're doing this to help yourself and in retirement, make sure that you are simply, doing what you want and how you want to do it. It is a personal venture. You're involving yourself in it. Doing animals is my thing. Okay, landscapes are great. I love doing landscapes, but animals, birds, those are more of my passion. Because the wild Kentucky. You will see that the name of my channel is going to change here shortly. I'm not going to spoil it as to what it's going to change to, but I'll let everybody's going to see what it's changed to, because I'm all about Kentucky. Okay, I've lived here all my life except for a short stint when I was in the service and when I went to college. Okay, only did a year of college, and went in the service, and then I came back to Kentucky because Kentucky is my home. My grassroots are here, and it's just a part of everything there is of me. So put yourself into the artwork you're doing, because if you do that, you get much more satisfaction out of it. You're going to be happier with it. You're going to be happier with yourself uh, as you go along. Now, it does take steps along the way to learn how to do some of the process that's in all this. And as we go along in this venture, I want to put out videos that have different steps to make things look the way they do. Okay. Um, so if you're wanting to learn how to paint, you're going to see a lot more educational stuff as far as painting goes on this venue. And you're still going to hear me talk about references to how this is something that you can use in your retirement years to make yourself feel relevant, and you can use it to make yourself continue to be satisfied. It will help you keep your mind active, and the creative part of it will keep your mind young. You know, you can struggle with different physical things as they go along. We all do as we get older. You know, it seems like the older we get, the more we fall apart. You know, that's the normal stuff. But keeping that mind intact is a huge thing for retirees, because if you feel like you're not being relevant, you're not being active enough, this is a good way to keep yourself from getting to that point. And expressing yourself does so much to satisfy the soul. I mean, it's the gratification is just overwhelming that you can get from doing stuff like this. Uh, if it's something that you're into, stay tuned. You'll see more and more little tidbit, smaller videos of different processes, and hopefully you pick up some stuff from me. You can look at other painters that are online. I picked up tips and tricks from other painters as well, and I incorporate them in what I do. So learn, you know, from others, and learn what you can from me. It's not, you know, you're not going to hurt my feelings by copying a technique that I'm doing. That's the reason I put these out. Uh, the more artists we have in the world, I think the better off the world is, because it gives people a chance to see, you know, different things, and it fits in with what they do. And you can make money at it if that's what you're looking for. Uh, I do make some money at it. I don't make an overwhelming amount of money at it. Uh, it's not something that is going to make me a millionaire. It is just something that's going to make me feel like $1,000,000. Okay, by continuing to show my art to the world. Now, I mean, I've got the honor of being able to say I've done commissions for people all over the United States. I have done commissions for people overseas. Uh, People do watch me from all over the world. I do different live painting sessions. I do some on TikTok. I do some on Facebook. I do some on YouTube live, uh, or I should say they're live recorded. Once I get to the point where I meet the standards for YouTube, then I'll be doing some live sessions with live question and answers, um, and comments and things of that nature. And I look forward to getting to that point. But until then, I'll continue to do these videos and push out the knowledge that this old noggin has from the years of experience of painting. Uh, I mean, you're going to pick a lot of this stuff up just by watching the painting itself. Um, but you know, I'll talk about a lot of this stuff, and I'll show you a lot of techniques and how to judge paints, and you know, what paints are transparent, what paints are opaque. Uh, we'll get into some brushes. I mean, I don't use any particular brand of brush yet. There are some brushes that I like a whole lot better than others, uh, but the process is what gets you into putting together your own artwork. whether it's animals that you love to do, still lifes, portraits of people, you know, even getting into the niche of pet, you know, pet memorials. I mean, pet memorials are great. At one point in time, when I was doing colored pencils instead of oils, I actually did colored pencil drawings of dogs for the kennel, you know, the kennel. What do you call it? Some championship dog owners. Let's put it that way. They were in the Westminster Kennel Club. So I did a lot of colored pencil drawings of their champion dogs. And I mean, I stayed with it for a while. And then, you know, the dog owners that I was involved with, you know, eventually got out of it because they no longer had championship dogs. And, you know, you can move in, move out. I didn't go to the venues themselves to show my artwork. So, you know, you don't, if you're not staying active in front of those people, then sometimes you lose the ability to, you know, get those commissions. But you know, it was all good when it was going on, and that's back when I was in high school. Okay, so I was making money at my art back in high school, and I ain't gonna tell you how many years ago that was. Yeah, I will. I graduated in '84, 1984. So, you know, just so that nobody says you look older than that, you sure it wasn't 1884. I'm not that old yet, but still, putting yourself into the painting and looking at the painting and seeing if you're satisfied with it has a lot to do with it. So you'll see me paint this, you'll see me make changes, you'll see me put more of different things in here that to make it more relevant. You'll see a lot of me going into the painting as we go along. But you know, I more than welcome you to come in and watch, pick up what you can. Uh, you know, like I said, I learn from other people. I love having people learn from me, uh, and we'll continue on this journey. And you know, this does me a whole lot of benefit because, like I said, I'm just getting ready to go into retirement. I'm not there yet, but you know, I'm pretty much retired as we speak because I already know that I've only got you know a few short months before I'm actually fully retired. Uh, but is going to keep me from going stir crazy. And you know, if you don't have anything to do, doing something like this will keep you mentally strong, and that helps your physical. Okay, so welcome in. This is the Art by No Studios. I am Doug No, for those who don't know. And you know, you'll see the name change, and I'll put out a video on the name change of the channel itself to help everybody know exactly who I am and why I do what I do and the subjects that I choose. Okay. So I look forward to seeing you on that video as well. But you have a great day. May God bless you with everything that you could possibly have and need. Um, you know, it's without Him, we have nothing. So I give all the credit to my Lord and Savior for doing this and giving me the talent for this. So pleased to have you on. Pleased to have you with us. If you like what you see, uh, please like it. If you know if you want to continue to get the content as I put it out, please subscribe. Uh, if you think there's somebody else out there that would love to see how this is done, please pass it on to somebody else. It does help immensely. And we'll see you in the next video. You have a wonderful night.